on connectivity because to you that really was key in implementing the strategies that you did to adjust to the situation. So which one do you think will Jollibee still be implementing even post-pandemic?
Actually, we see that there are some things that will stay with all these changes, and that's why when we did our strategy planning, we came up with three stages, three-stage strategy. Stage one is really how to immediately cope and survive with the situation, and then we plan for stage two, which we think that the situations will improve, but pandemic will still be with us. And I think we are in the midst of stage two now. And then we look forward to stage three, which is a post-COVID situation. And when we look at the post-COVID situation, we like to see that some normalcy will come back, and that as we all know that during pandemic, our dine-in business, which was the main part of our business pre-COVID, was greatly affected. And we expect that this will come back, but we also expect that the changes that are happening right now, which are the off-premise and digital, will continue. However, before we talk about all the changes, when we were looking into the situation and what change in the business strategy should we look at, we actually first ask ourselves, what will not change? What will remain? And when we look at our industry and look at our business positioning, we go back to our mission statement. And our mission statement says that we serve great tasting food, bringing the joy of eating to everyone. And we believe that those will not change. People will continue to look for great tasting food, and people will continue to look for experience, good experience. And so our first set of strategies was actually how to strengthen our fundamentals. We continue to work on how to improve our product further. And now in the context of the change that we are happy that our customers are enjoying our products in the store, but given that it is now more delivered to the house and it will take some time, how do we make sure that our product continue to be great tasting after when it's delivered to their homes? Of course, aside from working on how to make sure that our existing products will continue to be great tasting, we continue to look for innovations. As we know that one of the shifts now that we're seeing is that customers are now more into experiments, and maybe because of options and accessibility, and they are now more experimental, and we want to stay relevant. And one way is for us to keep on innovating, and without sharing confidential plans, please watch out for the coming products that we will launch. And of course, we talk about joy of eating experience. How do we strengthen that fundamentals? And while again, our customers have been enjoying our warm hospitality, our service in store, how do we bring that to their homes? And that brings us to our second strategy, which are what are the pivots? And again, on the off-premise, when we see now that it's from in-store dine-in to now home consumption, what are the changing needs and wants of consumers when now that is happening? And we see this a lot, not only our Jollibee Group, but all the brands are now into offering group meals. And that's because of the nature of the home consumption. We're also looking into making sure that our packaging will make sure that our quality of our product will keep, and that it is convenient to our customers. On the pivot on the digital side, we look into the customer digital journey and identify the different touch points, from awareness to actual to order fulfillment, and hopefully to turning them into a customer advocate. And so in those different touch points, we want to make sure that Jollibee groups are present, from awareness to consideration. So we have been working and rolling out our apps. And so again, if I may plug, if you don't have it yet on your phone, please download our apps. And we're also available through the web ordering. And of course, we work closely with the aggregators. And in terms of presence, before COVID, we started with a very low percent of our number of our stores enrolled with our partners aggregators. Today, where aggregators are present, 100% of our stores are enrolled. This way, this allows customers to have that kind of accessibility to our products despite the restrictions. And of course, in those digital touch points, we may ensure that the customer experience will be a joyful one. And so we continue to improve on our digital solutions. And talking about connectivity, we also have been increasing the availability of our cashless payments options.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that app and on the products and services that you'll be launching soon, Joseph. Chris, I wanted to get back on that word diversification because it was really critical in your survival or thriving in this pandemic, in the middle of a pandemic, and you've launched a vegan product. You've introduced new brands in the refrigerated and chilled item segment, just to name a few. How do these product innovations help manage the consumer? As you mentioned, switching from premium brands in a pandemic.
Sure, Kathy. Yeah, so innovation is really a big part of the thinking right now in our company. I think the last time I checked, almost more than 10% of our current revenues are from products that we launched in the last 5 years. No, so innovation in our group right now going forward is anchored on three themes. No? Number one is value for money. Second, health and sustainability. Third is convenience. So on value for money, well, we live in recessionary times right now, and the consumer, as we see it, is very value seeking. So we try to launch products that are either the consumer gets more quantity of the product, or a better product, a higher performing product at the same price, or it's the same product but a lower price. So we try to cost engineer. No? So for example, we launched we have swine. We're in the midst of a pandemic. We also have swine fever. So pork is really expensive in the wet market. So earlier this year, we launched a product that it can be used for pork dishes where the homemaker can save up to 50%. No. Vis-a-vis buying pork in the wet market. So that's an example of value for money. In the case of health and sustainability, it's top of mind right now during a pandemic. So we last year in the middle of COVID, in the middle of quarantines, we launched a milk product that is fortified, you know, for immunity and health. You also mentioned our plant-based a new product launch. It's along this theme of better for you, better for the world kind of product. And it's not just in the Philippines that it's relevant, it's global, right? That whole theme of this kind of food is a huge trend. No? So we're also participating in that. And finally, in convenience, we are a food company, so we're mindful of our consumers, and they want to really cut down the time for food or kitchen preparation. So we've come up with products that allow them to do that, ready-to-eat products as well.
So you're seeing these products help target double-digit growth for both income and revenue this year?
It will definitely help, but some of these are longer-term investments where we reap the dividends 3-5 years from now. But certainly, it will help us in our quest to grow 10 to 15%, 2 times GDP over the next 5 years.
Kevin, talk to us about mREIT Inc. because your vision is to make mREIT among the biggest in Southeast Asia. What new demand for leasing activities has the pandemic created in the BPO-focused office market at a time when everyone's working from home?
Well, the BPO sector, as I mentioned, has been very resilient. It's, one of the few sectors that actually continued to grow during the pandemic, both in revenues and in headcount. and so it's one of our more resilient businesses, our office leasing. Mega World currently has about 1.4 million square meters of office spaces. And we have a good number of very matured townships. So this combination, we think, is a great opportunity for us to launch and grow a truly meaningful REIT. Of course, the REIT market now is super exciting. The investors are very, very happy to see many products in the market, and I think and I think all the REITs have a very, very great proposition. All of our REITs target this very resilient sector. It's been an 11-year thing for the Philippines. It's been an 11-year journey rather for the Philippines for us to launch our first REIT. So we're very excited, right? Today, though, going back to the BPO sector, we do see robust and renewed demand from them. Especially starting this year when recovery in the US has started. Work from home has been very helpful for the sector. And we have also done, our corporate structures have also done work from home. And, I've just say thanks to PLDT and Smart also for helping us out with that. We've tapped them quite a lot for our enterprise requirements, and as well as our work from home requirements. I think the BPOs are also enjoying great connectivity. However, it does have its difficulties. Working from home, it's very difficult for companies to build a culture. I guess it's also very difficult for companies to monitor productivity and service levels. We ourselves are feeling this. So I think ultimately, work will come back to the office in a great majority. And if ever, there might be a small bit of hybrid, but work from home. But I think the greater majority will still be back in the office.
And you've also digitized the real estate business. You've rolled out a property management app that's part and parcel of what you talked about, Agile Digital Ventures, where you also have a couple more apps. You've got Picaroo, Boozy PH, McDelivery PH. What's been the reception so far to all these apps?
Yeah, very good reception. Obviously, with this pandemic, people are stuck at home. Very difficult to get around, and even if you want to get around, it's just everyone's just too scared to go out. Our liquor delivery app, Boozy.ph, has grown 3 times since the start of the pandemic, and our Picaroo app now has more than 1,000 brands, and it's on its way to its 1 millionth transaction very soon. We have some very loyal customers in our app. They use our app on average about 5 times every month. But I think, what's, more meaningful for us for these efforts, aside, of course, from the convenience that we're giving our customers, is that it's the ability that we have to help also small businesses that are affected by this pandemic. At Boozy.ph, we have over 2,500 SKUs. We're not exclusive to Emperador's products. We work with all distributors, all brands. At one point, we even helped, bars who were closed dispose of their inventory. Picaroo, we are brand agnostic. We work with all the grocery brands. We work very well with Robinson's brands, Shopwise, the marketplace. We work with all of the, we also work with Shakey's, Peri Peri. We also just recently launched the Smart PLDT store. We hope to be able to launch Jollibee soon and Pen Shop soon as well. We're helping everyone. We're helping malls, not just our malls, all malls. We have hubs in actually other people's malls, which is great. We're helping a lot of food outlets, and we're helping a lot of stores. We're helping them get their products straight to people's homes, and that's been very, very sort of heartening for us. Aside from that, our property management app, which is now in most of our townships, they're also helping small businesses within the community as well. So like I said, really more than anything, these efforts has been very heartening for us to be able to help all businesses weather through this pandemic.
And along those lines, Lance, you're all systems go for your digital banking venture. Go time. You just got your digital banking license from the Bangko Sentral. Congratulations.
That's right.
I guess the premise there is the Philippines is undergoing a digital transformation. The main bulk of customers now receive their information, do business, etc., through their mobile phones. So we have to develop a new financial services product, which is more suited for this generation. This is all in support of the Bangko Central's objectives of getting 70% of the Filipino population to be banked and 50% of all payments to be through digital means by 2025. So whenever a conglomerate like ours goes into a digital transformation, we have to say, how are we going to compete with all these startups who move so fast, who have shown so much agility, who have such flat organizations? And basically, conglomerates like us, we of course have to work on the culture and people piece, but we also have to say, what are our strengths, right? And a conglomerate does have some unfair advantages relative to startups, and we should maximize that. And I would say these so-called unfair advantages are really the corporate reputation that we have, the huge number of customers that we have. We have very talented people working for us, and we have, most of all, huge ecosystems of data and customers and stores. In our case, what we have is through our customer loyalty company, Davi, or Data Analytics Ventures Inc. We have over 7 million customers from both Cebu Pacific and Robinsons Retail, and we have managed to put that together into a single rewards program called Go Rewards. We also have over 2,000 offline stores through Robinsons Retail, and if you combine the power of this database plus our offline acquisition, and we partnered with South Africa's leading digital bank called Time Bank, and they have the technology, the process, and the culture. Hopefully, what we get together combined is going to be a product which addresses financial inclusion and changes the way Filipinos bank in the same way Cebu Pacific perhaps changed flying 10, 15 years ago, simply just making it more affordable, accessible, convenient, and that's really the aspiration.
So are plans shaping up for the planned launch for the second quarter of next year? Is that still on target?
Yeah, we're gonna try to beat that date, Kathy.
Yeah, and on REITs, a pretty exciting space as well. Robinsons Land also has got one, the RL Commercial REIT Inc., which you've described as the most geographically diverse Philippine REIT. What is your value proposition for investors based on your own sense of how demand is looking for the core of your tenant base, the business process outsourcing industry?
I think echoing what Kevin mentioned earlier, I think the growth of the entire REIT industry is wonderful. I mean, it took some strong measures led by Secretary Dominguez to open up the REIT market for the Philippines. And one requirement of the REIT is any capital raised in a REIT has to be spent in the Philippines within 1 year. And you have seen now 4 or 5 REITs all coming out within the last year. That has a multiplier effect, no? Robinsons Land itself, our REIT, is going to raise 23.5 billion pesos, and we have a very aggressive program to further expand our real estate investments in the Philippines, not only in property, but also in other growth areas, particularly data centers or logistics warehouses and such, no? And I think if you have this multiplier effect across all the industry's players, you're going to see a significant amount of capital coming into the country to support, to continue to support the economy, especially in these challenging times when every investment peso is required.
And that is the plan to get back our feet post-pandemic. I'm hearing a repetitive refrain here, the need to be agile, resilient, responsive to change. And that includes building the foundation for post-crisis growth to remain competitive in that recovery period. But Bernie, what about in the retail industry? Do you think that brick and mortar retail could return to its glory days, or will many of the stores become mini distribution hubs for e-commerce?
You're right, Kathy. I strongly believe that the brick and mortar stores will be here to stay. And we are very grateful for the support that we've been getting these past 18 months from Kevin's group, Mega World, and Robinson's Group Plans, and the other mall partners that we continue to work with. We are going through a major transition right now and transformation. And I believe that the future of retail is not just going to be brick and mortar. It has to be both offline and online. And this is, I think, a lot of retailers right now, and in our case particularly, where we are investing substantial resources to digitalize everything that we do. We have to, and we're working with PLDT Smart as well to make sure that the connectivity with all our stores and the inventory system and the data management that we have in our company will be able to support what we call now the omni-channel transformation. This is really the future of retail, Kathy, is really about adapting to how our customers are behaving. More and more, as more people are working from home, staying from home, many of our Filipinos, and millions of them, are experiencing online shopping for the first time. And I don't think that will go away soon. But what will really happen when there is more mobility is that our consumers, our customers will have more option on how they purchase products, whether it's offline, online, or a mix of both, anytime and anywhere. They could shop in the middle of the night and have it delivered a day or two after, or they would be shopping for their friends and families and have them delivered in another part of the country. So at the end of the day, it's really all about omni shopping, allowing our customers to shop anywhere, anytime. And retailers will have to really prepare for that eventuality, and that's inevitable. This is where a lot of customers, and our experience the past 18 months have showed us, Kathy, that a lot of our customers actually browse online. They choose their products online, but a sizable portion of that, they prefer to pick it up in the stores. They want to be able to browse and choose the products and be assured that these products, when they go to the stores, are available, and they have a choice which stores among our 1,000 stores spread across the country as to where they will pick up their preferred products, right? So this is really what omni-channel, and it's in the infancy stage right now, as many retailers are not really prepared for this. But in our case, we kind of doubled on this prior to the pandemic. Now we are accelerating things, and we are going to go online very soon. And it's a work in progress. It's we need a lot of connectivity. We need a lot of system change. We need a lot of even behavior from our own employees, because for a 35-year-old company, we've been pretty brick and mortar. Our DNA has been pretty more of a brick and mortar. But even during this pandemic, we launched a new brand that is a pure online brand amongst all our other brands. So again, the future of retail, Kathy, I believe that brick and mortar will survive, but it has to be augmented with online shopping. And it's omni-channel will be the new normal moving forward.
Indeed, and it is happening as we speak. Jollibee Group, for sure, you're continuously expanding. I mean, that is how you're taking your business post-crisis. But how do you scale that business, Joseph? That it seems like an art on how to balance between on-premise and off-premise.
That's right, Kathy. And just to build on what Bernie shared, it's really an ongoing learning for all of us. It's a work in progress. And in terms of our digital transformation journey, we actually when we see that the need for digital transformation to be one of our competitive advantage, to be one of our capability. From an organizational side, we actually have two groups working on our digital capability. We have a digital technology group and our business technology group. And from a technology side, we look at both not only external or customer facing, but even internal facing as well. We know that we have to equip our organization on how to strengthen in terms of productivity, efficiency. And so on the digital transformation, there's an internal side. And then on the cost and external side, again, we work on our native app. So I'm happy to share that today, 3 of our brands already have the digital app, and that's Jollibee, Chowking, and Mang Inasal. And all the rest of the brands already have the online ordering. So again, we are digitally present. And in terms of balancing between online and offline, again, we believe that with the vaccination and that as we improve on our restrictions, customers will come back to our dine-in. So we are prepared for that. However, we believe that some of the changes will stay. So what we're working on is a project on store of the future. What that store of the future will look like. And we believe that health, safety will continue to be an item, a component, and then of course the convenience. And so when people have tried the digital experience, we believe that they will continue to look for it even if they go back to our restaurants. And how do you now apply that digital transformation even if they want to dine in our restaurants, right? And there are a lot of possibilities. And in fact, we're very excited with all these possibilities. Do you really always have to order looking at the menu board and order through the cashiers? Or can you actually order through your phone ahead? And when you arrive at the restaurants, the food is waiting for you. And so we actually already have some kind of those features. We call it order ahead. And today, since they're still for pickup, so order ahead, and then when you go to our restaurants, the food is ready for you to be picked up. And either you want to pick up by walking inside the restaurants, or if you want to pick up staying in your car, we also have a curbside pickup for those stores that can have that available. And on the drive-through, because there are more and more people going into our drive-through facilities, and we have to ensure that our capacity is keeping up with the increase in demand. So how do we speed up our service in drive-through, again providing that convenience at the same time increasing capacity? So we look at technology as one. We look at increasing the number of lanes or increasing the number of customer touch points so that we can increase the capacity of drive-through.
What investments in new formats will you be making?
Definitely, we are looking into a lot of investment in the technology, in the digital transformation. So right now we are investing on a lot of digital solutions. At the same time, we continue to see growth potential. We remain optimistic. And so given the pandemic, we remain with our vision to become one of the top 5 restaurant companies in the world. If I may borrow a quote, that the comeback is always stronger than the setback. And that has been my battle cry, that we want to see ourselves, the Jollibee Group, emerging stronger after this pandemic.
Yeah, that's what we're all wanting to be, stronger after the pandemic. What about for Chris? There's a mention of the overseas markets, and I know you've got exposure in the overseas markets. So what sort of new investments and formats are you going to make going forward?
Yeah, we mentioned earlier, and it's been covered by Bernie and Joseph, that new channels are coming up, right? And for example, in our Shakey's business, our aggregator business in 2018 was practically zero, right? In 2019, it was like 1 or 2%. In 2020, it was up to like 15% of total. And then today in 2021, it's like up to 30% of total business, right? So that's definitely something that we're looking at. We're working with Picaroo. We're working with the other food aggregators. So that's definitely a channel and a format that we're investing in and partnering with different aggregators. As far as the rest of the restaurant business, the belief is that this pandemic at some point becomes more endemic, and but people are still going to be a little worried and skeptical, right? So our restaurants were now experimenting with more drive-through type formats. Pizza historically, or even chicken, is not meant for drive-through, but we are experimenting with that. Delivery only stores where there is no dine-in component anymore, so-called ghost kitchens. We've been doing that for a number of years actually with our restaurant business, because it used to be we would build delivery only stores as an extension of a branch that's doing really well, and we didn't want capacity to affect guest dine-in experience, so we would build delivery only sort of stores as an adjunct or as an extension. But now we're very deliberately opening up these delivery only stores in order to be able to deliver our food to our guests in 31 minutes or less anywhere in Metro Manila. So that's sort of the challenge that we've given to our team. So as of today, I think almost 100 stores within Metro Manila, we can deliver within 31 minutes, right? On the branded food side, on the Century side, we are seeing new models also out there, where more and more there's this so-called direct D2C, direct to consumer, where the product goes from manufacturer, bypassing the retailer, bypassing any physical store, going directly to the end consumer, and it's all done digitally and fulfilled by fulfillment partners. And while it's still small here in the Philippines, it's something that we've been doing. It started last year. We were kind of forced to do it when wet markets and supermarkets were there were restrictions. So we were selling directly to consumers via fulfillment partners, as well as the Shoppees, the Lazadas, and the different platforms. And so those are also very important partners now. Still small for grocery type items, but definitely growing fast. Another thing that where that comes in handy for us is when we try to test new products. It's very easy for us to put it online and then use a bit of social media to increase awareness and then have trial. So it's very easy for us to test new concepts, and then the ones that work, we scale them up, and the ones that don't work, we just we prune them. So I guess these are some of the new formats that we've been experimenting on. And maybe the last thing I'll mention there is something that I've seen in other markets, where it used to be Amazon Prime was the standard, where it was overnight delivery. And now more and more we're seeing, same day delivery, and even in other markets, we're seeing delivery within 30 minutes, right? So all of this is really a race to convenience, and these are formats and different business models that will probably become more common as we go.